have been learning about generosity. We have been learning about respecting others. We have to help each other, not only be self-centered, but have this group spirit.
You realize what kind of person you are.
This started 6 months ago when at the School of Global and Public Affairs of IU University, we decided to create an experience in a holding environment that would be very special.
You have to think about where to put your feet, which rock to climb. It's just thinking of how you manage your feelings, how you manage your emotions, how you decide to basically move on, and it's still having that power in your mind of knowing that you can do it.
You know, we've gotten to know each other at such a deeper level. We've been through so many rough challenges.
Walk for 8 hours a day and then somehow be able to get to know people along the way while you're out of breath, while you're asking for water all the time.
This was a very physically demanding trip that was, I think none of us could have done it without the others.
In a team, everyone complements each other, and with your strengths and weaknesses together, you can be way stronger and way better than on your own. And I think that this will always bring you further in life.
And I think that's really been transformational as a group to come together and to really experience such an amazing thing.
After all, we all have our baggage, we all have our own mountains.
We are physically and mentally capable of taking on much more than we give ourselves credit for.
I think I passed my limits. It's hard because you have some hills to go up.
And it was very hard for me, that part of this trip, but I can do it.
Just walking and like sweating and just like being on your own mind and then looking at the scenes that we have, it's just magical.
I was looking at myself, where I suffered, where I enjoyed, and that kind of gave me a clear picture of what I've done.
For the students, it was kind of like a psychological barrier to overcome the 4,000 meters. To reach a summit is like reaching your personal goal.
We climbed to almost 4,200 meters from Tenggloche and had an amazing view of the Mount Everest.
You push your limits and see things that you will never see in your home country. You get out of your comfort zone, so that helps you to develop as a person.
Being in reach of this summit has really shown me that there are a lot of challenges out there in the world that I want to achieve.
Being connected with nature and with just yourself and just with your legs, you figure out that life is just a path.
When you hear about people who summit Everest or who make it through these insanely dangerous areas of the world, you never know about the people who got them there. And the Sherpas are so amazing, and they've done it so many times, and they're so strong.
They were not only someone who helped us and worked for us, but we played cards with them in the evenings, and we drank with them, and we had fun with them.
And they're inspiring, and they've really helped all of us to get there, and we could not have done it without them as a team.
I'm climbing 14 times Mount Everest. I've been in the from France, and I climbing Mont Blanc is 3 times, and South Africa and Kilimanjaro last year I climbed there. Many people walk like this the mountain. Not walking, no money. Everywhere, every place, every mountain, everywhere it's risky. I climbing with my friend before many times together, and 2, 3, 4 years. This is my friend. The accident, the mountain in Everest, accident there.
We visit 2 projects of the foundation of Edmund Hillary. Edmund Hillary was the first person that in 1953 reached the summit of the Everest, and as many climbers he wanted to create an impact here in Nepal, and he made a foundation where they have done 2 projects, a public school and a health center.
We don't get any support from Nepali government.
No.
Not even 1 rupee. For Nepalese patient is basically free. We charge only 100 rupees for fat charge, registration, then doctor's consultations. Back there is our pharmacy, all the medicines they need, and for the investigations, and we charge a little bit, very minimum nominal charges are there. So and it's not a lot at all. Yeah.
Nepal is the small and poor country, so education is the very Nepal condition is the expensive.
But a lot of people, a lot of kids who come to this school go to Kathmandu to study.
Kathmandu is a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yes.
University a lot of money. A lot of money. No poor men and women, poor student, no facility.
Yes.
A very big problem.
Yeah.
And so, no support. Parents is very poor, very difficult.
They were really insightful for me to understand how a social project can be implemented in a different country like Nepal.
A nosotros nos habían dado mucho la comunidad Sherpa y toda la gente nepalí, y pensábamos que podíamos aportar algo. Estamos en un valle que es muy rico, pero hay muchos valles en Nepal que allí no llega nadie. Que los niños para ir a la escuela necesitan 4 días caminando o no, porque a los 6 años a unos padres les viene mejor que su hijo portee, como hemos visto aquí. Nosotros lo que hacemos es apadrinar un niño, una persona apadrina a un niño y le da los estudios hasta que va a la universidad.
This journey made me realize the importance of not letting privilege go to waste.
Me as a citizen coming from a Western world, having all those privileges, and then seeing the children of my age who are way more less privileged than I am. It motivated me to do something about that and devote my time towards people that don't have the same chance as I do, and to succeeding in life and getting a career and education.
Everyone kind of seems to think Nepal is just the Himalayas, and they forget about the Sherpas in the Himalayas or the people who actually live there.
Nepal is a very spiritual place, so part of our experience is to know different spiritual ways of living our lives. We will experience a puja. This is a Buddhist offering to their gods.
For me, it's been really incredible to see something on a different side of the world where I've never been. Having that spiritual kind of feeling around you, how people are, the Himalayas, how incredibly mysterious they are. you start thinking about different aspects of a country, different aspects of cultures, different aspects of relations between countries.
We are visiting Bhaktapur, one of the three main historical kingdoms of the Khumbu Valley, together with Kathmandu and Patan. Today is a break between the trekking in the Himalayas and the Bhutan part of the trip. It's a rest that everyone needs, and it's a great opportunity to discover a little bit the culture and the country that we are visiting.
My favorite part of the trip was definitely meeting Edurne. She has become a huge inspiration to me.
We have that person. Mis grandes broncas. And the doctor want to put dexamethasone. We don't want.
Why? Pero qué gente más.
Then we need one helicopter. We don't have insurance. Realmente creo que no me lo esperaba. Gracias por todo lo que habéis hecho por mí. Simplemente me habéis hecho feliz. Os deseo lo mejor, que me tenéis para lo que queráis en la vida, a lo que queráis. Seréis muy grandes.
She's an amazing person who has given us all so much, and just having her in my life at least has been a wonderful change.
Bhutan has a small size, has low population, but has an amazing history between two giants, China and India.
The country is now, since 2008, a democratic parliamentary monarchy. A country that is only 700,000 people. 52% of Bhutanese people are happy. What these numbers really mean, it's very complicated to measure happiness because it's something very abstract. It's something that changes, it's very subjective. When in Bhutan, we met with the chief planning officer of the Gross National Happiness Index. And we didn't only learn about the history of Bhutan, but also how they've been trying to implement gross national happiness as a substitute to the gross domestic product, which is what most countries in the world view as the standards of life.
In my city, we have been always following our principles of gross national happiness. Now, when you say gross national happiness, straight away you get the idea of conserving your environment.
Sustainable development is very important for Bhutan. Since we live in the mountains, we get little agriculture and we have a small market. So how to lead our life with minimal resources that is readily available locally is very important.
It's a framework to move forward and to evolve as humans and fulfill our grievances in a new 21st century-esque way.
The other part is protecting our culture and traditions, promoting our culture identity in the schools so that our youth grow up as citizens who are aware of their own culture and traditions. So culture, tradition needs to be preserved. We don't allow any buildings to be built without our architectures. So that's one key thing that we need to look at. And also, people visiting offices cannot come in pants and shirts. We have to come in our national dress.
The concept of gross national happiness has impacted me a lot because I think it's a really original measure to implement in a society.
And normally, whenever you look at a country, the first thing you would look at is the GDP. And now suddenly to get introduced to whole different concepts of living conditions, house conditions, happiness conditions, and all different kind of areas. It's really interesting and exciting because it just changes how you look at a country. To not see that, hey, you have a low GDP and assume that they're poor, but then just to actually talk to people and see that they're way better and smarter in certain ways than you could ever have thought.
This country is greatly tied to the spirituality of it, to the religious side, which in hand, I think, fits perfectly into the framework.
We've been learning a lot about the different people, the different cultures, how their way of life here is different, how they dress is different, what they eat, and how their governments run has been really interesting.
I would definitely recommend this trip for anyone who studies international relations because of the experiences that you'll make as a student in terms of exploring new cultures, learning about other ways of thinking. And I think it's definitely a necessity.
First part of the trip we learned, I think, mostly about ourselves as individuals. But the second part where we spent in Bhutan, we learned about other cultures.
I feel like a different person. I feel that all the things I've learned in 2 weeks are gonna be very valuable for the rest of my life. I would never change the decision to come here, to experience sleeping in hostels where we could barely have a bathroom or take a shower, trekking uphill, downhill. I think it has been an amazing experience. I've never had an experience like this. I would definitely say it has been the best trip of my life. All the people who came with us, it was meant to be.
Welcome to the Transformational Journey.
Happy New Year 2000.
the Khumbu Valley together with Patan and... This is the end of the trip, but the transformation will continue! Woo!